Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining our webinar. We are looking forward to beginning in just a few moments. Settle in and we'll get started shortly. All right, everyone. So a few other housekeeping announcements prior to getting started. If you have a question, please type it in to the Q&A for us. And then the second thing that we like to say is that the U.S. Small Business Administration does not endorse Public-Private Strategies Institute. This session is being live streamed and recorded. And then we also like to remind everyone, do not share any personal information in the Q&A function. So just remember to not share any personal information. Thank you so much. Now I get to introduce Senior Advisor Renee Johnson.
Hello, and welcome to Building a Better America, a small business resource community and webinar series brought to you by the U.S. Small Business Administration and Public-Private Strategies Institute. Today, we're happy to discuss community initiatives and uplift with a discussion covering resources to help your businesses thrive with an emphasis on HBCUs today. We're excited to have each of you here for the U.S. Small Business Administration's webinar series. And our goal today is, and across this series of events, is to connect small businesses with critical resources and information about the Biden-Harris administration's policy agenda, including how the Inflation Reduction Act, the bipartisan infrastructure laws, and the American Rescue Plans create opportunities for small businesses. Today, again, we will be celebrating historically Black colleges and universities, HBCUs, and programs to support entrepreneurship. We'll be hearing from prominent leaders who focus on empowering HBCUs and programs to support business entrepreneurship. First, we'll hear from the U.S. Department of Commerce Minority Business Development Agency's MBDA Undersecretary, Donald Cravens Jr. Now, Mr. Donald Cravens Jr. serves as the first Undersecretary of the Commerce for Minority Business Development, where he leads the Minority Business Development agencies in its service of the nation's 9.7 million minority business enterprises. After more than 52 years in existence, in 2021, President Biden signed the Minority Business Development Act of 2021, expanding and making MBDA permanent as the United States' newest federal agency. Undersecretary Cravens, he was unanimously confirmed by the United States Senate on August 4th, 2022. The Undersecretary holds a Bachelor of Arts in Political Science from Louisiana State University, a Juris Doctorate from the Southern University Law Center, and he is a life member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. He's also a life member of the Rocks, Inc. and a member of the 100 Black Men of Prince George's County. And without further ado, I'm excited to introduce you to all to Undersecretary Cravens.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson. Good afternoon, everyone. It is so good to be with you. Let me first of all just thank the Small Business Administration, our U.S. Small Business Administration, under the wonderful leadership of Administrator Guzman, who she and her team have done just an incredible job during some very tough years, as you all know, with the pandemic and a lot of the unrest that we've seen in our country over the past years. Many of our small businesses struggle to make ends meet and to stay open and to keep their employees. And the SBA, as I said, Administrator Guzman and her entire team have done a phenomenal job of providing support to our small businesses. And so I want to just thank them for their sponsorship. And of course, my good friends and our leadership at Public-Private Strategies Institute. PPSI does an incredible job under Rhett's leadership, but of course with Renee and all of the great team that exists there. of just bringing these resources to businesses and to entrepreneurs and to people. And in this day and age, all of the great things we're going to talk about on this panel, the infrastructure money, the opportunities, that's all great. But if there's not a person or a group or people who are linking opportunities to real people, to real entrepreneurs, then we're going to miss a lot of opportunities. And so I do want to thank Rhett and his team for continuing this connection between opportunities and real people to benefit. I'm also happy to be joining you today as we talk about historically Black colleges and universities, which are very important to me, as I'll talk about in a second. But I do believe to be a very vital part of our entrepreneurial present day as well as our future. And so I'm honored to be here today. So thank you so much. As Ms. Johnson said, I am Don Cravens Jr., the nation's first Undersecretary for Minority Business Development. And as she said, you know, we have the MBDA, which I hope many of you are familiar with, existed for 53 years. It was created by President Nixon in 1969. And at that point, it was a temporary idea, a temporary agency, stood up, I think, to help people of color, primarily African Americans at that point, primarily African Americans and Hispanics, after the great 1960 civil rights movement. And so this little temporary agency for 53 years has worked very, very hard to change people's lives, to give minority business enterprises of this great country a fighting chance to achieve the American dream. And so I'm honored that, as Ms. Johnson said, in 2021, when Congress unanimously and bipartisanly said we need a minority business development agency now more than ever, I'm honored to serve as the first person to be the undersecretary. I'm honored, I'm excited because I think that in this role, the MBDA, as many of you know, there's an urgency right now as it revolves around federal entrepreneurship and working with the federal government. I'm honored to be in this role because the sole mission of the MBDA is to promote the growth and the global competitiveness of minority business enterprises. And so as the first ever undersecretary, that is my passion, it's my mission, and it's my job, along with the men and women who I work with here, to elevate the new MBDA, to help as many businesses as we can, but also to break down barriers to access that have been holding so many entrepreneurs of color, especially, back for so long. Our job here is to close gaps and to seek opportunity so that minority entrepreneurs have a fighting chance, as I said, to pull themselves up by the bootstraps. MBDA will be the boots. MBDA will provide the straps. Now, if we're going to break down those barriers, it's going to require systemic change. And we'll need to implement policies that will last. We will need to take action that will benefit even future generations. And that starts with our schools. And as I said at the beginning, I'm so proud to talk about our HBCUs and all of our minority serving institutions. I am the product of an HBCU law school, the Southern University Law Center in my home state of Louisiana. I experienced firsthand the value that HBCUs and all of our minority serving institutions provide to Black students, as well as all students. I mean, our HBCUs, that we talk about the fact that they service African-American students. We also should be talking about the fact they service all types of students and do a phenomenal job of helping people from all walks of life. We have these institutions, these minority serving institutions, set up to prepare our children, our future generation. We need them to utilize, we must utilize them so that we can capitalize on their potential. And we believe here at MBDA, we are using our HBCUs and our minority serving institutions to build the next generation of entrepreneurs. And why do I say that? Well, just this month in October, MBDA awarded 7 grants, 4 of them to HBCUs, totaling $1.7 million, to develop pilot programs to support entrepreneurship programs for undergraduate students. And so Shaw University, Bowie State, to name 2 of the 4, we awarded those grants so that at the college level, we can educate our young entrepreneurs so they can be thinking about their opportunities. These programs will allow those schools to develop curricula, pilot courses, seminars, and replicable models and products and tools that will address the inclusive innovation and the general economic development. And so our goal is to award projects that will lay the foundation for future generations of entrepreneurs of color so that they can be the driving force for innovation. I want to talk to you just briefly a little bit about MBDA, because I know these seminars are really about access. MBDA has a national network of 88 grant programs or business centers located all throughout the country. And so for businesses who are owned by people of color who may be with us today, we believe that the MBDA resource catalog, our 88 affiliates, our 88 grant programs and business centers, we believe we're for you. If you are a minority business enterprise and you need some specialized assistance to deal with some of the unique challenges and barriers that people of color in business face, MBDA is for you. Our operators provide counseling services, consulting services, technical training, and other federal services to your businesses. And we know that the greatest challenge for all of our minority businesses is access to capital, access to contracts, access to global markets. MBDA helps expand that access and will give you and your businesses the tools and the connections you need to get your foot in the door. Our agency is unique, ladies and gentlemen, because our network is run by businesses and organizations in your community. And so the hope is our business centers understand your needs, they understand your desires, they understand how to navigate some of those local markets, industries, et cetera. Some of our operators even provide capital and loans. But importantly, we help you prepare for when you're ready to sit down in the room with an investor. We help you with capacity building, capability statements, bid proposals, securing certifications. And the proof is in the pudding. Just last year, MBDA helped minority businesses secure $700 million in capital, over $2 billion in contracts, $2 billion, and over $330 million in export transactions. And so, again, what makes us a little different than any other agency in the federal government, our sole purpose is for the growth and global competitiveness of minority business enterprises in this country. And so we take that responsibility seriously. We want it to be intentional. And we do understand that this once in a generation infrastructure program that President Biden, thanks to his leadership with bipartisan members of Congress, we have before us, this 1.2 trillion. We understand that MBDA and the role we serve, it's more important probably than ever before. And so we stand at the ready to assist you and your business enterprises, to help you with all of those wonderful services that I mentioned. And also maybe just to be the shoulder that sometimes you have to lean on, especially if you're an entrepreneur of color. My parents have been entrepreneurs my entire life. They've owned and operated a business for over 40 years in small rural Louisiana. I remember the nights of not only struggling like all entrepreneurs struggle, but struggling uniquely like Black entrepreneurs had to struggle, or people of color have to struggle. I remember those nights, those days and those nights live with me every day when I stand in this office. That is the lens that I'm using to do this job. So I'll say it again. MBDA is your agency. We're here to help you. Thank you again to the Small Business Administration, our partners there. Thanks again to PPSI for inviting me and your leadership in this space. And I look forward to working with all of you. And I do hope to see you soon. As the nation's first undersecretary, I've got two jobs. One, not to be the last. And two, to be your voice if you are a minority business enterprise owner. In order to be your effective voice, I also have to be a good listener. And so as you work hard each and every day, please take some time to reach out to me, reach out to the MBDA, let your voice be heard so that I know that when we're working on issues, we're working on policy, we're doing it in an intelligent and an informed manner. So thank you all again. Thanks for what you do, and I wish you nothing but the best. God bless you all.
Thank you so much, Undersecretary, for those encouraging words and resources for the MBDA. Now we're going to hear from Felicia Brown. who is a senior advisor at AARP. She has over 25 years of experience developing programs, managing projects, and strategic planning. In her primary role as lead for AARP's entrepreneurship initiative, she provides strategic direction for national partnerships and national programming with focus on women, communities of color, and veterans. Among her recent accomplishments, she's the creator of the AARP's Meet the Founder, highlighting the stories of business founders, the How She Did It podcast, featured in the AARP Work and Jobs video series, and the creation of the Small Business Development Resource Center for the 50 plus. Ms. Brown is an active member of the Washington, D.C. chapter of the Foundation for the NC-A&T State University and the NC-A&T Aggie Athletic Foundation, which is AAF, and a live member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, and is an active member of the Rho Mu Omega chapter located here in Washington, D.C. Without further ado, Ms. Brown.
Thank you, Renee, for that introduction. And I'm so excited to be here with everyone. I cannot, it takes a lot to follow that wonderful speech that the Undersecretary just gave. But I'm a proud alumni of North Carolina A&T State University, located in Greensboro, North Carolina, just for those who don't know where it's located. And, I'm excited that I just read that there's been a 60% increase in HBCU enrollment, but overall college enrollment has been low. And so that says a lot, that many of our students are choosing to go to HBCUs because of the experience they will receive and the camaraderie and the information and education that they will receive while matriculating on those campuses. And I'm a believer that from that, there will be a number of several entrepreneurs that will emerge from those campuses. And AARP is here to serve. AARP believes that entrepreneurship really is a path to helping to achieve economic security. And we know that through entrepreneurship, there's opportunity for communities of color to achieve wealth and generational wealth through entrepreneurship. So AARP is keenly focused on helping individuals and communities be successful through information, education, and partnerships that we create throughout the country to organizations and with organizations that provide direct to consumer programming and training that helps them elevate to launch and grow their small businesses across the country. And so we're excited to be a part of that. And I'm excited that I have the opportunity to lead that body of work. And so 2 years ago, we launched our Small Business Resource Center for the, and we call it for the 50 plus, but it is for everyone. And anyone who knows AARP, that is our prime audience, but what we create for one, we create for all. And there at the Small Business Resource Center, you can find a lot of resources to help your businesses start and grow. And we also launched in the past 2 years our disparity strategy. And with that disparity strategy, we intentionally wanted to focus on helping communities of color really access the training and access to capital that they need to be successful. Because we know that access to capital is the #1 hurdle for people of color to launch and grow their business. So we wanted to be in that space where we help small business owners be successful. And while we are not a financier, we do align with organizations such as the National Association for the Self-Employed that have grants program to help them grow. And so with what you'll find on the Small Business Resource Center are audience pages, because we know that there are specific organizations that are keenly focused on helping specific audiences. So what we've done is we've created a page for African American Black, we've created a page for Hispanic business owners, AAPI business owners, Native American, and women and veteran. And what you will find on those pages is curated information that centers around organizations, training, and organizations that provide capital to help your business grow. And we are constantly updating that information because we want when you visit those pages that they are up to date, and that you can find yourselves there, and that you can go directly to those organizations to find what you need to be successful. I want to also draw your attention to a partnership that we launched this quarter with the National Association for the Self-Employed, where we are supporting their Grants to Growth program. And that is awarded a grant quarterly to help individuals grow their business. And the goal there is to really help remove barriers to capital. And so if you need a $4,000 grant to purchase a printer or build a web page or increase your marketing, that is what that grant is for. And so we've been intentional about aligning ourselves with organizations that are providing direct to consumer programs that really help you grow. We don't want to just provide lip service. We don't want to just say that we have resources, but we are providing educational opportunities. We have webinars. We have tip sheets that are downloadable around how to build your business plan, how to develop a marketing plan, how to use your community to grow your business, how to talk about your business, all the things that are critical for starting and growing a business. And so while our focus has been around aspiring entrepreneurs, we really want to help those who've been in business for a while. And so we've been talking about succession planning. We know that there's an end to everything. So we want to talk about how do you successfully close the doors if you're beginning to sunset your business. And we want to help you to identify how to use venture capitalists, how to identify new forms of funding, how to really access new customers, and all those things that are necessary for the established owner. And so we are excited that we've really grown our body of work in this space because we know the value of entrepreneurship in America. We know that they are the small business owners are the cornerstone to our global economy. So we are excited that we are showing up. We will continue to grow and expand our body of work. We hope to provide new tools, particularly around developing business planning next year, more webinar, more opportunities for learning, and opportunities to partner with organizations across the country. So we want to hear from you. We invite you to visit the Small Business Resource Center at www.smallbizrc. And if there's a resource that doesn't show up, we want to make sure we include it because we're here for you. And again, we're excited to be a part of this illustrious panel. We're excited to be a part of this work, and we are committed to helping small business owners. We're committed to helping communities of color, businesses of color, and working with organizations that help us to be successful and to serve those who are interested in starting and growing their business. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. We truly appreciate it. And one more time, what was the link that people can go to?
They can go to www.smallbizrc.org.
All right, you guys heard it here first from Ms. Brown directly. Now we're going to turn to the SBA, and you're going to hear from Mr. Warren Miller, who is the Senior Advisor for SBA's Office of Disaster Relief Assistance. Prior to the SBA, Mr. Miller served as a key policy advisor to the FEMA Administrator and Vice Chair of Equity on the FEMA National Advisory Council, also known as NAC, the Biden-Harris Presidential Campaign State Campaign Director for Mississippi, and in the United States Congress. As a small business owner, he's also led the implementation of E911, radio communication system onto the statewide communications network for several municipalities. He is also a life member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated and a recipient of the Elder Watson Diggs Award, the fraternity's second highest national service award for a member. He is a proud alumnus of the University of Southern Mississippi and recent recipient of an award from the illustrious institution as well. And without further ado, I present to you Mr. Miller.
Well, good afternoon, and thank you for that introduction. I bring greetings on behalf of Administrator Isabella Guzman, who is a member of the President's Cabinet and a voice for the 33 million small businesses that are so vitally important for the American economy. I think we've got a presentation that you can provide. Otherwise, I'll just move on with the information and we'll catch up on the slides. So the commitment to increasing equity is one of the important things that the SBA is focused on. SBA has deepened our engagement and support of the African American and Black historical disadvantaged small businesses. In line with the Biden-Harris agenda, we've recently released the Equity Action Plan, which we're focusing several of the major changes to help level the playing field for small businesses. We've recently signed a SAM, or Strategic Alliance Agreement, with the historically Black colleges, which we believe is going to be critically in introducing small business owners and critical to the resources that will help them achieve their outcomes and closing the wealth gap. Next slide, please. On June the 14th in Washington, D.C., we were honored to have the entire Council of Presidents from the Divine Nine, or historically Black presidents of the fraternities, sororities of the Panhellenic Council, signed a landmark partnership. This is the first of its kind agreement that's focused on financial literacy, outreach, and access to capital for communities. This strategic alliance is going to be, as a historic alliance with the SBA and the NPHC, is helping President Biden with his commitment in building equity and closing this wealth gap that will help our small businesses in the communities. Next slide. Under this economic empowerment and engagement, this alliance will focus on increasing financial literacy for the underserved communities that are disadvantaged communities, and expanding and outreaching and introducing entrepreneurs to the suite of tools that the SBA has to help grow, start, and increase the access to capital in their business, as well as government contracting opportunities. The NPHC as a partner will help us to grow the engagement and entrepreneurs through their national meetings, their regional meetings, and their local chapter structures in the communities to build the trust within those communities. When we defined this strategic alliance, there were a couple of important pillars that we wanted to focus on. Our 8A program, assisting with navigating for other government contracts, assist with disaster recovery and outreach and mitigation. Our disaster lending program, access to capital for small businesses, as well as startups and acquisition businesses. We're looking at getting them access to our community navigators, our women business resource centers, our VBOCs, or the veteran business outreach centers, and the small business development centers, as well as our SCORE chapters and our field offices that we have over 60 field offices throughout the country. Next slide, please. For those who are not familiar with the Divine Nine, They represent on thousands of university campuses and HBCUs. These members are representatives across the civic, business organization, faith, elected leaders. This community is representative of over 2.5 million of college trained as well as alumni members throughout the communities. They bring trust and they are critical allies for us in those communities in time of disasters, as well as to help promote building business. Many of our leaders that we have in our mayors or faith leaders, pastors, elected leaders in those particular communities that are members of the Divine Nine. You can see here in the picture, we spoke about those presidents that joined us in Washington, D.C. for that historic signing with Administrator Guzman. Our vice president, as well as other leaders, are Secretary Fudge and other leaders are recognized members of our Divine Nine. The next slide, please. The NPHC, for those who are familiar with those organizations, are made up of 9 national historically Black fraternities and sororities, are sometimes referenced as the Divine Nine. The organizations are Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity, Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority, Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity, Omega Psi Phi fraternity, Delta Sigma Theta sorority, Phi Beta Sigma fraternity, Zeta Phi Beta sorority, Sigma Gamma Rho sorority, and Iota Phi Theta fraternity. They make up the 9 members of the Divine Nine, or the National Panhellenic Council. The next slide, please. This agreement is going to allow for us in those communities to basically focus on improving financial literacy with our undergraduates, as well as those small businesses in the community, to figure out how to get access to capital, outreach in our underserved communities in time of disasters. We are relying upon those trusted voices and organizations in those local communities that can assist us. Assisting with navigating government contracts. We have our local offices and chapters that can assist those small businesses with getting access to, when disasters happen, there are contracts and opportunities more than just debris cleanup. There are things with regards to the ongoing recovery, as well as the repair, rebuilding, as well as contracts that can provide with the needed materials as communities are working toward recovery. We have our centers through our SBA community navigators that can serve as mentors, providing guidance and encouragement for those small business developments in those communities to seek those opportunities. There's special programs around the women's business centers that we have established that exist on many of our HBCU campuses, as well as around the many cities. Right now, there are over 100 of these women business centers around the country. For veterans, VBOX, there are programs around our veterans outreach program that we're encouraging for those to align with and register to look for those set aside opportunities. Next slide, please. This agreement is a national agreement that was signed. Right now, we're beginning our efforts. This is talking about an opportunity that we have coming up in a week. It's going to be in Miami. Right now, this will be working with our local leadership in that particular community, introducing them to our access to capital programs, as aware that right now the state of Florida has a disaster going on that we're assisting with recovery from Hurricane Ian. The types of opportunities that we can encourage and suggest that are going to be created. As mentioned, the infrastructure bill that is going on, the opportunities that are going to be developed from that will be able to connect them with the resources that can help promote those opportunities. Right now, this is going to be a launching of this particular national agreement, and we look forward to it spreading to our other regions and other cities around the country, as this agreement is going to be connecting with the local chapters, the regional, as well as the national meetings that we will be bringing and promoting this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Miller. Well, now we're going to talk about some additional resources regarding the Inflation Reduction Act, the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law, the American Rescue Plan, and Made in America. And then also talk about how you can be a small business vaccination leader in your community. The Inflation Reduction Act on Tuesday, August 16, 2022, President Biden signed into law. And the IRA will lower costs for small businesses and working families by, one, making healthcare more affordable, leveling tax playing field for small businesses versus large corporations, reducing the deficit, and also combating the climate crisis. Let's go to the next slide. Now, many people want to know about the taxes. So the tax portion of this, the IRA will not raise taxes on the vast majority of small businesses or working families. This law is not funded in any way by personal tax increases on small businesses or working families. It's making those that are making under $400,000, which is roughly 98% of all Americans. The IRA doubles the refundable research and development tax credit for small businesses, which is going to raise it from $250,000 to $500,000. The credit can be applied against payroll taxes and a wide variety of expenses, including product development and technology. Increased funding for the IRS will not be used to target small businesses or those working families we talked about. The IRS will be able to upgrade their processes and focus on areas of challenges for the agency, such as large corporate and global high net worth taxpayers, pass-through entities, and multinational taxpayers. Again, the IRS has promised that the investments of these enforcement resources will be designed around the Department of Treasury's directive that will not impact small businesses that are under that $400,000 threshold, which again is roughly 98% of all Americans. Let's go to the next slide. Now, when it comes to healthcare, the IRA will make prescription drugs more affordable without hurting innovation. A recent survey found that more than 80% of small business owners supporting allowing Medicare to negotiate prescription drug prices, capping out-of-pocket drug costs for seniors at $2,000, and ensuring Affordable Care Act premiums are affordable for families and their businesses. The IRA will provide a 3-year extension, which is going to be through 2025, of enhanced subsidies for small business owners who are buying their own health coverage on the Affordable Care Act marketplaces. Again, this is going to be a slide deck that we're going to provide to you. So you'll have more information that you're going to be able to click through as well for those resources for your businesses. Let's go to that next slide. Now, for the bipartisan infrastructure law, that was on November 15, 2021. President Biden signed the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act into law, making a historic investment of $550 billion in new funds for large investment projects, supply chains, broadband, and drinking water. This is the largest investment in the nation's infrastructure since 1956. It includes $555 billion in projects to deliver clean water, $65 billion to expand the country's broadband, $110 billion to repair and rebuild the country's crumbling roads, and $90 billion in modernizing public transportation. The impact to small businesses. This law will touch virtually every part of Main Street economy. The law will expand access to tens of billions of dollars to federal, state, and local government contractors. So this means the U.S. Department of Transportation is expected to award more than $37 billion in federal contracts. support an estimated 700,000 jobs per year, help small businesses hire new employees and reach new customers. This is also going to foster the new development of Main Street and for businesses in some underserved communities. You can also go to the guidebook at build.gov to find out more information there. So also the American Rescue Plan. The ARP created the, which was signed in Congress in 2021 as well, and also the CARES Act, which focused on helping small businesses and consumers. So it support communities that were struggling in the wake of COVID-19. The plan provided critical support to these communities, provided emergency grants, lending and investment to hard-hit small businesses so that they can retain and hire workers to work during the pandemic. It distributed more than $360 billion in emergency funding for state, local, territorial, and tribal governments. It helped hard-hit public transit agencies avoid layoffs and service reductions, which disproportionately harmed workers who are more likely to depend upon it during public transportation as well. The ARP also created the Community Navigator pilot program, which many of you may have already heard about. This program was designed to reduce barriers that underrepresented and underserved entrepreneurs often face in assessing the programs they need to recover, grow, or start their businesses. There was a total of $100 million in funding to 51 organizations. Selected projects cover diverse communities across the US and Puerto Rico. The grantees, they serve as hubs, and there are centralized lead organizations which will incorporate spokes, which were organizations that have built a trust in local communities. And basically they connect small businesses to critical resources and assistance, which include financial assistance, access to capital, contracting and procurement, marketing operations, business development, exporting, and then even more industry-specific training. And to learn more about this, you can go to the SBA's website and click on Community Navigator to find a community navigator in your community. Let's go to that next slide. For the tax incentive, there's paid family leave tax incentive. This was a program that offered employers up to 12 weeks of paid family leave. And leave could be used for where people could take care of a family member, maternity or paternity leave with biological or adopted children. In exchange for offering the leave, employers will receive as much as 25% tax credit for the amount of wages replaced. The policy is targeted to hourly employees who would not otherwise have access to paid family leave. Employees who participate cannot make more than $72,000 per year. And we tell people, again, definitely talk to your tax preparer to see if this is an incentive that works best for you. Let's go on to that next slide. Now, Made in America is focusing on making sure that manufacturing is made here in America. To learn more about this program, go to madeinamerica.gov. And also you can find out more information about how you could become a contractor through the SBA's website by going to the SBA's website and clicking on Become a Federal Contractor. You can go to sam.gov and also to the GSA website as well. Next slide. Now we're going to talk about how you could become a vaccination small business leader in your community. So what small business leaders can do? Well, one, we want to make sure that you are vaccinated and boosted. And if you are already vaccinated and boosted, encourage your employees, family, friends, and neighbors to do the same. Create a vaccination plan for your business, review state and local vaccine policies, or seek legal advice. Consider the incentives like the paid family leave one we just talked about, and also to get the opportunity to recover from side effects if they shall occur if they receive the shot. Whether you're encouraged, incentivize, or mandate vaccines, communicate the plan to your employees both in writing and verbally. Continue to follow the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, guidance on wearing masks or social distancing, even after all of your employees are vaccinated. And then also check out these additional resources from the Health and Human Services website as well. And again, we're going to provide these resources to you in an email tomorrow after this webinar that you can click on and use for your businesses as well. And now I'm super excited because we are going to introduce to you our last speaker. Well, it's Carl Brown, who is the State Executive Director of the District of Columbia Small Business Development Center, also known as DC SBDC, on the prestigious campus of Howard University. He has a wealth of small business development knowledge with over 25 years of experience. His subject matter expertise is in the following areas: human resources, sales, marketing, procurement, and government contracting. He holds a BA from Howard University and an MGA from University of Maryland University College. Mr. Brown is a certified contract compliance administrator and as a SHEPA executive coach. And he is also a member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. And with that, I'm so excited to introduce to you all Mr. Brown.
Hey, Renee, how you doing? Look, hey, Rhett, thank you for inviting us to be on the webinar today. It's certainly my pleasure. I also want to thank the SBA, Howard University, and of course, my team. And I just want to talk about what we do and how we do it on the campus of Howard University. So we provide one-on-one confidential counseling. We provide industry research. We provide capital infusion. That's when you try to get a loan. And we also provide a lot of webinars and workshops. And our topics include, but are not limited to, cybersecurity, intellectual property, marketing, sales, business development, finance, banking, networking, and then GovCon. We're in DC, there's a lot of government contractors and they want to learn about GovCon, and they also want to get on GSA schedule or the 8A program, or they want to get their socioeconomic certifications like the DBE, MBE, CBE, HubZone, women-owned service small business, veteran-owned small business. We work with you on getting all of that. Now, let's talk about impact. You know, because we want to let you know what we do and how we help you and how this impacts the community. So last year, and well, not last year, but this year, so far we worked with 782 clients. We've worked with them to get over $13 million in loans. We have supported over 2,100 jobs. We've done over 5,500 hours of counseling, okay? Over 5,500 hours of counseling. And we performed with 207 webinars and over 3,400 people attended our webinars, all right? So that's the impact that we're having on the community and the small businesses here in the District of Columbia. Now, if you're outside of the District of Columbia, there is a small business development center near you. You can go to Americas with an S, SBDC.org, Americas with an S, SBDC.org, or to get to us, just go to DCSBDC.org. That's DCSBDC.org, and you'll be able to get to us. Now, when I talked about intellectual property, Howard University is unique in that it has a Patent and Trademark Resource Center located right in the School of Business library, which is right around the corner from my office. You don't even have to leave the building, all right? And they would help you on your patent and trademark research to find out if someone already has gotten a patent or trademark under that or for that. And guess what? Our services are free and their services are free. So everything that I just mentioned, one-on-one confidential counseling, the industry research, the loan package review, and the webinars, they're all free. So this is your tax dollars at work. This is a partnership that Howard University and the SBA have had since 1979. And we've been on the campus since 1979, delivering these services to you for free. Let's talk about options to entrepreneurship, because I know we don't have a lot of time. Of course, we work with you on starting your own small business from scratch, obviously. We also work with businesses that have been around for a while. So we work with you to open, sustain, and grow your business, period, the end. But there are other options available to you, like purchasing an existing business. You know, we talked about the census and how there's 10 to 12,000 baby boomers retiring every year. Guess what? A lot of them are entrepreneurs, and they're walking away from their businesses. You know, some are selling them, but many are just walking away with and leaving money on the table. So we work with you on identifying what businesses are for sale. There's a couple of business brokers like Transworld and BizBuySell. They have businesses for sale at every price point. We work with them, we work with you. Then you can also purchase a franchise. Franchise success is about 95%. So why is that so successful? Because they provide a lot of technical assistance to you right there to make sure that you grow and develop and you're a successful franchise. Then there's the employee stock ownership program, you know, where you're working for a company and then the owner says, well, hey, I'm getting ready to retire and I might sell the business or just close it down. Well, the employees could get together and buy the business from the owner and keep it going. And then there's co-ops, you know, you can start a co-op with, 5, 6, 15 people, how many ever people that you put together. You start a co-op and you run and manage your business and you make decisions amongst the chosen few or the many that are in the co-op. So those are opportunities that are available to you and when you're trying to take this entrepreneur journey. And then we also deal with stuff like succession planning, as Felicia talked about earlier, because there might be an end date, and you want to look at your options, whether you sell the business or just close it down. It's up to you, but then, or if someone is buying the business from you, or you're giving it to a relative or a family member, how is that going to transpire, So we work with you on all of those things. So, and let me just give you some tips on, what to do as an entrepreneur and understand that you're never alone because there are SBDCs located in every state. And I always say you drive 5 miles in any direction and you'll wind up at an SBDC office. We're located in every state, Guam, Puerto Rico, American Samoa, the Virgin Islands, and Saipan. So give us an opportunity, check us out. We're there for you. We will help you out. There are close to 1,000 offices in the continental US. So, here's some tips for staying in business and growing your business. Stay laser focused as you're growing. Reinvest into your business. Okay, when you're looking for funding, you're looking for capital. If you're not investing in your business and you go to the bank and the bank is looking, how much is this person investing in their business? Or they're not investing anything? Well, why am I going to give you money? So it's up to you to show them how you're going to manage your business, how you're going to manage their money, and how you're going to pay them back. Now, remember when the PPP and the EIDL first came out? Well, we found that there was some problems with African Americans getting money. And some of the problems that we found were they weren't paying their business taxes or they weren't paying their taxes at all right? They had low credit scores. They didn't have a financial infrastructure, no QuickBooks, no NetSuite or any financial accounting mechanism in the business, didn't have a business bank account. They were running their personal and their business through one account. They didn't know who their business banker was, and they might have been doing business with that same bank for a decade. We're trying to train you on financial literacy and help you with all of those things at this point, because we don't want to repeat that, you know? So we're talking to you about being in compliance with your taxes, being in compliance with your basic business license in the District of Columbia. We work hand in glove with DCRA, which is the Department of Consumer and Regulatory Agency, and they're the ones that you have to go to get a basic business license. So we work with them hand in glove to make sure that our businesses, our clients are in compliance, because we want you to be successful. So with all of that, write down your procedures and policies. You know, when you're looking at your IT, make sure that you're sending your information to the cloud that has more security on it, because cybersecurity in small businesses is a big industry now. They are stealing from small businesses. And think about it. I always use the example of the cleaners. The cleaners has your name, phone number, address, and your credit card or your debit card, because they don't want to give your clothes to somebody else. So they got all your information. So if I'm a thief, if I'm a cyber thief, where am I going to go? Though your local cleaners doesn't have an IT department. It's not like Target or Citibank or any of these other people that have 10 and 20 or 100 people working in their IT department to make sure that I can encroach and steal their data. So stealing from a small business is big game, and it could put you out of business real quick. So, and you know, with all of these supply chain issues that we've had lately because of the pandemic, and you know, the ships were out in the sea, they couldn't come to the docks and be unloaded and all these things, or the manufacturers couldn't even work because of the pandemic. Well, guess what? You have to have multiple streams of getting your products. You know, a lot of times we get comfortable with one supplier and we continue to go to that well. And guess what? When they're not available, we can't get anything. And that's what happened to a lot of people during this pandemic. They could not, and I'm not talking just small businesses. We all know it from large businesses as well. You go on to a lot of these large stores and you look for certain things and they didn't have them because of the supply chain issues, you know? And then one thing that I would tell a lot of people in this, you know, and make it even a rule of thumb for you, market your business all day, all night, everywhere you go. Anytime you talk to anybody, remind them or inform them about your small business, because they may not know about it. And with that, I'm gonna turn it back over to Renee.
Well, thank you, Mr. Brown. This was so informative and great. And if anyone has any questions, Mr. Brown, how can they connect with SBDC again?
Oh, absolutely. Thank you. Just go to dcsbdc.org. Our phone number is 202-806-1550, and it's dcsbdc.org. And if you're in Miami, Manhattan, Santa Monica, doesn't matter, go to Americas with an S, SBDC.org. Americas with an S, SBDC.org. If you're in Puerto Rico, Guam, American Samoa, the Virgin Islands, you can find out where your local offices are. And like I said, we got 1,000 offices. So you are not alone as an entrepreneur. You can always reach out to us. And guess what our price is? Free. Our services are free. So please take advantage of your tax dollars working for you, okay? Because no one says, well, I'm not going to drive on that road because it's free. We all drive on that road. So our services are free. Utilize our services. Let us help your small business start, grow, or sustain so we can all benefit. All of America can benefit. Because remember, Renee talked about all of the money that the transit organizations are going to get. Well, guess what? They have a DBE program, Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Program. We can help you get certified as a DBE. If you qualify, we can help you get certified. So come on in, come and see us. We can help you. We can help you grow, sustain in your business and hire new employees and all of that. We're here for you.
Wow. Thank you, Mr. Brown. We are very, very thankful for you and all the team that are at the SBDCs. Want to also thank the Undersecretary from the MBDA, Felicia Brown from AARP, Mr. Miller from the SBA as well for joining us today and providing us all these amazing resources. We will provide a copy of this webinar presentation to those of you who registered for this webinar. So please, please, please check your emails for that. You will have that received to you in your inbox tomorrow. And then also for those of you who did not, there is a recording that is on Facebook Live on the SBA and PPSI Facebook pages. If you have any SBA related questions, go to answerdesk@sba.gov. You can shoot your questions there. And if you have any questions about a copy of this webinar, please feel free to contact events@publicprivatestrategies.com. And with that, we want to conclude. And again, thank all of our amazing speakers, our interpreters, and all of you for joining us today. And we look forward to our next webinar with you all in 2 weeks. So cheers and see you then.